Hi YouTube, Darth here. Another week has gone by in the community test environment and I got some more play in this weekend. This week the CTE had two patches, core gameplay patch number 9 and number 10. I'm going to go over the highlights of each along with my thoughts in this video. So let's get to it. First up, in core gameplay patch number 9, DICE added all the maps that were not yet in the CTE. This means that all the China Rising, Second Assault, and Naval Strike maps are now available for play on the CTE. It's too bad that this means that Altai Range and Dragon Pass, two of my most hated maps, are also now on the CTE. Don't get me wrong, I think they're fine for the type of player that likes wide open maps, but all I can think of is the Armored Kill expansion pack to Battlefield 3. I feel like I'm always doing a completely unnecessary amount of running around on these maps when all I want is action. Needless to say, I'm not a fan of these maps. Moving along. There were some minor tweaks to the UI in core patch number 9 as the dev team tweaked some of the HUD icons so that they scale with distance and continued tweaking the revive icon and timer. Additionally, there were some tweaks to rush maps and they introduced Flood Zone and Goal Mode as playable rush maps in the CTE with changes all of their own. Next up, in core gameplay patch number 10, there were a number of good changes. First, they changed the bomb location update timer on Obliteration from 5 seconds to 10 seconds. So in live, the bomb is constantly visible on the map and the heads-up display. This has changed over the last few weeks in the CTE to only update the position of the bomb every few seconds. Currently this is set to 10 and I'd love to test this out, but it seems like nobody in the CTE ever plays Obliteration. Honestly, given the games of Obliteration I have played and how the bomb carrier is almost never the bomb planter, this seems like a good change, at least when it comes to encouraging people to at least pick up the bomb. Next up was a pretty necessary change as DICE updated the Dorito icon for enemies using the defensive squad perk. Because the defensive perk generally requires an extra bullet to the torso to kill, DICE has chosen to add a shield icon to these players who are using the defensive perk. This will allow discerning players to choose between a chest shot and a headshot and, at the very least, allows some visual distinction to defensive players. The last major change in patch number 10 was that a notification sound was added to paddles that are fully charged. No longer do players have to mentally count off the time to a full charge, they can listen for this beep. As you can see, you want to wait for that beep to complete. Also in patch number 10 were some changes to server telemetry and network settings. For example, your tick rate are handled automatically. If you're not familiar, this is the rate at which the server talks to your machine and vice versa. Ultimately what this means is that they're looking for ways to automate how the network traffic is handled by player and server alike to hopefully give the smoothest experience possible. It's also been said to be necessary in order to bring the tick rate patch to older generation consoles like the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. Finally, they added a World Cup Easter egg to Caspian Border, so go boot that ball if you get the chance. But you just might have to do it on a Dutch server. So that's it for this week in the CTE. As always, I highly encourage you to play in the CTE from time to time if you have premium and you're on PC. If you meet those requirements, you can find the sign up in the description below. If you like this video, please throw it a like. If you're new around here, check out my channel and consider subscribing. I'd also like to mention that I'm fairly active on Twitter, so check me out there if you haven't already. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time, YouTube.